Hello, everyone out there in Ciderville. This is going to be one of my editions called Bottles on My Desk, and I have a whole complement of cans, not bottles. So you can see on the side there it says Sunset Cider Club because Wednesday nights are Sunset Cider Club. This is when I am recording this right now, and it's a good night to taste cider. So I have some cider here that's been sent to me by Applewood Winery, and they have different ciders that are under the label Naked Flock. And I remember when they came out a number of years ago, and they had this like wild looking goose on it, and it was semi naked. In fact, I wonder if, oh, there it still is. Let me see. I could bring you back in out of here, and maybe you'll be able to see that little goose there, right? So that's what we're going to be tasting. And I have the first one open. This here is the draft. I tried to set up in an order that would be accommodating. And I'm doing this totally live here where I don't quite know what to expect. So let's pour it here. This is the Naked Flock Draft Cider. And it is, from what I understand, 0.5% alcohol by volume. So you can see that has nice big carbonations, probably been put in like a bright tank to get that carbonation. Very fruity coming out of here. They're calling it draft. I'm not sure what that means. Whenever I see anything draft, I want to drink it. So let's try a little sip here. Not a complex cider. It's bright. It's refreshing. Uh, Let me see. They call it a semi-dry. So I'm down with that. Semi-dry is really a great way to have a cider labeled in this way for most people's palate. Not mine. I typically would semi-dry be a little bit drier, but yeah, kind of a nice, easy drinking cider. All right, we're going to go to the next one, and I tried to actually have five ciders here, all from Naked Flock. The next one is their rosé. And rosé, you've heard this with like wines and whatnot. A rosé is where they have a blush to the cider. So let's see what we have here. I'm cracking it open. Going to do the little pour here. Oh yeah, and you can see that. Look at that. Oh, really pretty, right? Well, in this case, it's not a red fleshed apple like some of us might know out there in Ciderville. This is the color, the rosé comes from hibiscus. And hibiscus is used very, I'm not going to say commonly, but it's used quite a bit in the industry. So it's hibiscus flowers and currant juice. Says it gives the cider a modest blush. Okay, well, let's see. Let's see if I'm going to blush when I drink it. Probably. 5.5%. Another crushable, not complex. These are not complex ciders in my mind. These are something that are perfect for this time of year to like kick back and drink. A little bit different from the early Naked Flock that I used to have. They used to serve it in like 22-ounce bottles. All right, let's go to the next one here. Let's see. I have an order. I have to be careful because I'm doing this on my desk. I don't have I don't have a little slide for it, but this one is their raspberry draft cider. Also, 5.5% cider blended with raspberry juice. Look at that. Oh my goodness. That is popping in that glass. Yeah. So I put it in front of my face. You could see. Woo. All right. Oh, man. I immediately get the raspberries off of that. A little bit different raspberry than I'm used to. Very like jammy raspberry is how I put it. Mm. Again, 5.5%. They may be using the same base throughout with like that draft can that I had earlier, the first one right here. They might have used that as a base for the rosé. I don't quite know. Very jammy coming through. Now, I do want to say I follow Naked Flock on Instagram, and I really enjoy their whole uh, educational hit that they're doing now for people. So check them out, Naked Flock on Instagram. Santa's Naked Flock. This one's a little bit different, and of course, we're not really in the season of Santa, so this would have been from 2022, and have been sitting on these ciders for a while, and it says that there's some cardamon, cinnamon, and cayenne. I'm kind of excited about that to see how that goes. So let's pour it. You're not seeing any kind of colors, pretty straightforward looking. Not as big as bubbles as we earlier saw on the draft. Oh, woo. You have to be careful when you first sniff cider that's just been poured, because two things, it needs to breathe. Cider needs to breathe in the glass. So I did that in one way that I normally don't. I sniffed too early. And this is so strong that I can't bring my nose too close. And it's those spices that we're talking about, that cardamom. Cardamom comes in like a little seed pod. And from time to time, when I'm feeling, having a little soiree on a Sunday morning, I'll crush up cardamom seeds and put in my coffee. And it's pretty pungent. Getting cinnamon on the back of that. So we said, I'm not getting the cayenne, just a little bit. Oh, the final finish. Now I'm getting the cayenne. That's a fun, interesting. I could see that being a really nice cider for the holidays, for folks who want to have something that's a little spicy and, kind of Santa's saucy. Very seasonal. That is fun. Thank you. This last one here is the smashed cherry. Now, this is not really a cider. It's being called a mead, but I might call it a sizer. This is a highest alcohol. We went from 5.5% to 6%. And this is where they're calling it a honey wine because it's been blended with tart cherry juice and some honey. So I make a lot of sizer where I add honey to the fresh pressed apple juice. Oh, let's look that for you there. Oops. I do have equipment here. I have to be careful. So you can see, just like that earlier one, very, very cherry. Coming right off the nose. Unlike the raspberry, you do get that cherry. Think like cherry popsicle. When you suck on a cherry popsicle and you're sucking on all that cherry juice. That's a little bit what I'm smelling here. Kind of cherry juice, Jolly Rancher. So there you go. 5 different ciders from Naked Flock. They're in Warwick, New York. So that is the west side of the Hudson River. And it's north of New York City, south of Middletown. So let's say you're on, I think it's Route 84. I'll put my map over here. Route 84. It's south of that. Once you're heading from like Connecticut, you go into New York and around Middletown. They have a tasting room, and they've been around for a while. So they're not only making the cider, they also have wine. It says a family-owned cidery born in the Hudson Valley, which is just renowned for the apples and the wine scene there. It's really great. Crafted with 100% New York State apples. Our secret passion is hard cider without compromise. And they don't mess around with manufactured flavors and additives, unadulterated and stripped bare. This is what authentic hard cider is. And thus, you could see the name Naked Flock. And it says a little bit about our tasting room. We always have several small batch ciders and mead on tap. I would totally want to taste that, the small craft batches. I mean, that's more my take on it. But for anyone who likes like a middle of the road cider, and for the summertime, yeah, definitely go for Naked Flock. You'd probably be able to pick it up in Middletown or go stop in at the tasting room. Thanks for sending that to me, and thanks for taking part in a little bit of Bottles on the Desk.